Right now on News 13, an investigation is underway after a deadly shooting and barricade situation at this Robeson County home. Plus, a proposal that would set bar capacity limits along Ocean Boulevard in Myrtle Beach will go to City Council. Count on a live report.
Coverage you can count on at 6 starts now.
News 13 is your local election headquarters. And in less than an hour, 4 Republicans hoping to become the next U.S. Senator from South Carolina will meet for a debate. Thanks for joining us at 6. I'm Jordan Titus. The debate comes before tomorrow's start of early voting ahead of next Tuesday's special primary. The next WBTW event will start at 7 o'clock at our sister station in Mount Pleasant. News 13 anchor Adriana Lawrence is live tonight in Mount Pleasant. And Adriana, how's it looking out there?
Well, Jordan, it is very busy here as we expect the candidates to arrive shortly. Mark Lynch actually just got here about 30 minutes ago. We saw him walking through the hallways here at the studios of WCBD. The interim Senator Darlene Graham, she will not be here. We're told she's in Washington, D.C. tonight, taking care of some Senate business. Now, set to take the podium tonight are Representatives Russell Fry and Ralph Norman, both representing their districts in South Carolina, Fry's district in our own backyard. Both are strong supporters of President Donald Trump's agenda, but the president's endorsement went to Graham. Former South Carolina Governor and Congressman Mark Sanford believes, along with some of the other candidates, that the Senate needs a shakeup, especially on government spending. Businessman Mark Lynch agrees, but while he supports the war with Iran, he says he wants to see American troops come home and the U.S. economy improve. Now, there will be a lot to unpack after the debate ends. Again, it starts at 7 o'clock in less than an hour. I'll bring you all the key takeaways and highlights tonight at 11. For now, reporting live in Mount Pleasant, Adriana Lawrence, News 13.
Thanks, Adriana. You can watch tonight's debate live at 7 right here on News 13. And a quick programming note, tonight's episodes of Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy will air at their normal times but on WBTW 13.2. A list of those channels for various services and devices is on your screen right now. And happening now in Lake City, a meet and greet with some of the Democratic candidates running for statewide office in South Carolina. They include U.S. Senate candidate Dr. Annie Andrews, Dr. Jermaine Johnson, who's running for governor, and 6th District Congressman James Clyburn, who's running for another term in the U.S. House. The event is happening at Wesley Chapel United Methodist Church. And News 13's Eric Cooper is there. Count on a recap tonight at 11. The Robeson County Sheriff's Office says a 78-year-old man is in jail tonight in connection with a deadly shooting and barricade situation. Joseph Stokes faces a murder charge. Deputies called this morning about a shooting at this home on Highway 72 East say they found 49-year-old Errol Carpenter dead. Count on News 13 for updates as we get more details on this case. And a 17-year-old faces a murder charge tonight after a deadly shooting nearly 2 years ago in the Myrtle Beach area. Authorities say in September 2024, Eric Smalls shot Jaden Smalls in the face with a pistol at a home on Terrace View Court. Police say he tried to cover up the crime by flushing shell casings down the toilet and hiding the gun in a dishwasher. Smalls is in jail without bond. And a proposal that could impact the future of Ocean Boulevard in Myrtle Beach drew strong public comment today. The Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approving a zoning change that would restrict the capacity of future bars and nightclubs in that area. News 13's Morgan Baker is live in the newsroom. And Morgan, you attended the public hearing today. What do people have to say?
Jordan, many of the people who addressed the commission said they want Ocean Boulevard to be safe, but they question whether this proposal would actually accomplish that. The proposed overlay would limit occupancy for any new bar or nightclub in the Ocean Boulevard district to 150 people. This would include any establishment where cover charges and alcohol sales exceed gross food sales. Businesses already operating in the area would be grandfathered in and allowed to continue operating under current regulations. At today's public hearing, Victoria Tobin, the executive director of the Myrtle Beach Area Hospitality Association, shared her disapproval of the ordinance.
Our concern is not with the goal. Our concern is whether this ordinance gets us there. Public safety depends on how businesses operate, not simply how many people are permitted inside a building.
Tobin says her concern isn't just the proposal itself, but why it was brought in the first place.
This ordinance addresses a future hypothetical, not an existing problem. That raises a simple question. If there is no current proposal and no existing operation this ordinance is intended to address, why permanently eliminate future opportunities before they are ever presented?
With the Commission's recommendation today, the proposal will now go before the full City Council, which will have the final say. Reporting live in the newsroom, Morgan Baker, News 13.
Thanks, Morgan. Today at the Myrtle Beach City Council workshop, leaders looked at ways to improve golf cart parking. This comes after the city began enforcing a rule prohibiting golf carts parking on grassy areas at beach accesses. News 13's Libby Payne spoke to officials about the progress they hope to make.
Myrtle Beach leaders are looking to make changes to make it easier for both residents and visitors. As golf carts are becoming more popular in the area, leaders are looking to expand places for them to park, with hopes of having more people at the beaches. Leaders now say that golf carts will be allowed to park in the grassy areas, allowing more cars to park in the parking lot and maximize space. Josh Bruger, the assistant city manager for Myrtle Beach, hopes to resolve the golf cart parking issue soon.
The goal is the next council meeting, which would be next Tuesday if we can get this change done and approval at 2 meetings, which would then allow them to park in the grass, and then we'll start making the necessary improvements at the same time.
The goal is to better accommodate the community members by making parking easier for both cars and golf carts. Council members were pleased to see the amount of golf cart spaces that can be made in the future, saying this makes our beach access more resident friendly.
Hopefully over the next couple weeks to a month, residents should start to see some of the changes that we implement.
The proposal is expected to return to City Council next Tuesday. Reporting in Myrtle Beach, Libby Payne, News 13.
A News 13 update. One person is in jail tonight after a 15-year-old was hit and killed riding a bicycle in Darlington County. Travis Timmons faces a string of charges, including hit and run with death or injury and open container of beer. The Darlington County Coroner's Office says Jonathan Collin was killed around 9 Saturday night on West Billy Farrow Highway in the Hartsville area. Troopers say the 15-year-old was with 2 other people when a car hit him and another bike rider. We don't know the other person's condition. New tonight, the South Carolina Department of Public Health confirmed 2 cases of West Nile virus in Myrtle Beach. The city says it will increase its mosquito control efforts. Weekly spraying started in May and will continue throughout the mosquito season. People are encouraged to remove any standing water in their yards, use insect repellent containing DEET, and avoid peak mosquito activity, especially in the morning. The loss of the Grand Dunes tennis courts has many players wondering what the future of sports will look like in Myrtle Beach. News 13's Cameron Townsend joins us live at the courts. And Cameron, one city council member says the city now has a chance to expand access to tennis and pickleball.
Yeah, Jordan, these courts could soon become apartments, but city leaders say that shouldn't be the end of their conversation. They say as the Grand Dunes tennis courts make their way out for over 31 residential lots, Myrtle Beach City Council member Debbie Connor says it's an opportunity to create more places to play. She says a centrally located racket sports complex could give residents more places to play while also helping Myrtle Beach attract the kinds of tennis and pickleball tournaments hosted by other South Carolina cities.
There's a growing population of folks wanting to play pickleball. 2, there is a growing need for tourism-based tennis. It's always disappointing to me when we're going to a state tournament that we're going to Florence, we're going to Hilton Head, we're going to Aiken.
And she says while the project is still in early stages, she believes a mix of grants, public and private partnerships, and other funding sources could help make it a reality.
I've had a lot of one-on-one conversations with council members, and they're anxious to see, what we can do, what the cost is going to be. I think we've got to think out of the box for this one, and I think if we do, we can actually create a stack of funding that would help us make it work.
She says city staff is now gathering information as to what this project would look like. As for Prestwick, I spoke with owners today, and while they weren't able to give an exact answer as to what's to come of their property, they said for now, redeveloping into residential use is not something that they're considering. Live in Myrtle Beach, Cameron Townsend, News 13.
Thanks, Cameron. Next on News 13, why some hemp industry leaders in North Carolina claim a controversial bill will do more damage, while law enforcement says it will help keep kids safe. Frank has your most accurate forecast, and News 13's local coverage you can count on continues.